Yo, what the fuck is going on, guys? It's your boy Jay Sturdy and or Jordan, and if you're fucking special, you call me Young Sweye. What the fuck is up, guys? So today we got another banger coming in for you guys. It's gonna be another banger sturdy stories. So without further ado, let's get your drinks, get your snacks, get your popcorn, get your smoke, whatever you need to fucking chill out, relax, have a good time. And we are gonna get right into the festivities, shall we? Before we get started, just be sure to drop a like on the video, comment what your favorite part was, if you like these series, whatever the case is, and just be on the lookout. This is going to be the season finale of the first season of Sturdy Stories. So next Sturdy Stories is going to be a season premiere. Officially season 1 of Sturdy Stories. It's going to come with a revamp, a lot more designated stories, and hopefully I can start saying some stories more in chronological order, if it comes to it, but we'll figure it out. Today's Sturdy Story is going to be on getting invited to a party at a ROKU house, or the ROKU house, I should say. So I'm gonna tell you exactly how everything transpired, you know, exactly how the party went, well, at least to the best of my knowledge for everything. It's gonna be a good time. So this Sturdy Story is gonna be a little bit different. I don't think I've ever done a Sturdy Story where it's been like a live commentary type thing, but to be honest, I just didn't really feel like recording the gameplay separately. Been having a lot of problems doing that recently, and so it's just figured this would be the easiest way to do it. So here's the backstory. I was one day just hanging out after work with some friends, and my homies were like, yo, let's go to the skate park. We decided to, you know, get the skateboards out, go ahead and go to the skate park, right? So we sit there, we're driving, hanging out, blah, 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 blah. And we reached the skate park. And, you know, we're just hanging out at the skate park, just, you know, doing skate park things, hanging out with the boys, talking, blase, blase, blase. And then, out of nowhere, a couple minutes later, Aston Martin pulls up. And it's not like it's weird to see an Aston Martin per se, where I grew up at, you know. It's kind of more or less, I wouldn't say a common car by any means, but it wasn't uncommon to see a car of that caliber, right? A car of that status. So I was not really caught off guard at first, but it was whenever the person stepped out of the vehicle. The person who stepped out of the vehicle couldn't have been older than we were at the time, you know. 18, 19, 20, maybe 21, you know what I mean? And he just gets out of the Aston Martin, and he just literally walks up to this bench at the side of the skate park, sits down, and just sits and looks. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't say hi to anybody. You know, usually when people pull up to the skate park, it's like, yo, what's up, homie? You know, I haven't seen you in a minute, blah, 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 blah. Let's go, you know, or they get their board out, their scooter, their bike, whatever they want to ride that day, and, you know, start doing some tricks. Nah, he just went straight to the bench and just straight, you know, bopped his ass down. And so me and my friends thought that this was very weird. Very, very weird, but we didn't really think too much of it. And my brother happened to be there as well. And my brother was like, yo, do you know who that kid is? He just pulled out of that Aston Martin. And I was like, no, I've never seen that kid in my life, bro. And he was like, neither have I. And my brother goes to the skate park very, very often, you know what I mean? Like, he's been going there since he was, you know, a teenager and stuff like that. And my brother's like 30, you know what I mean? So he's been going there for years. And he hasn't seen that car, hasn't seen him. So it's just very weird. But my brother, you know, he goes out of his way, goes up to him, and he starts talking to him. And then about 5 minutes later, he comes back and he goes, yeah, that kid's kind of weird. Like, he's not weird in like a sense of like unordinary or whatever, but like he's just weird in the sense that he just didn't really talk. That's what my brother just kept saying. Like, he didn't really say much, and he was just very quiet. Okay. We didn't think too much of it, you know. A couple days goes by, we go back to the skate park. Same kind of thing. Pulls up, and you know, it doesn't really do much. If I remember correctly, this time he had like some sort of, I think it was like roller skates or something like that. Like, it wasn't a skateboard, but he had something that he could ride, but he still didn't ride them. And then he was like talking to this girl who also like rode roller skates or whatever. I didn't really hear too much of the conversation, listen too much, didn't really care. Just kind of drives away. And the girl that he was talking to was a girl that I worked with. And it just happened to be just kind of like one of those things to where I guess they met at the skate park. Not like on like a relationship thing, but like, you know, they were just friends or whatever. And she was a very friendly person. And her name is Q. And so like Q and I were talking at work one day, and I was like, yo, who was that guy at the skate park? And she goes, oh, that's Simon. I was like, oh, okay. So she starts telling me a little bit about Simon. Nothing too much, nothing too crazy, you know, just that he's this guy that just moved here from somewhere out of state or out of city, something like that. And you know, he's just trying to make some friends. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we go back to the skate park. I go back with like my original friends, and my brother happened to be at the skate park again, and you know, this mysterious kid was there as well. And my brother starts talking to him, and you know, 5 minutes goes by, and then my brother like calls me up there, and he was like, he introduced me to him, and he was like, yo, bro, this is my brother Jordan. And then I was like, yo, what's up? I'm Jordan. He was like, my name is Simon. I was like, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, we didn't talk too much, right? And, you know, we just exchanged a few words, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, kind of like one of those things, see you around. Hops back into the Aston Martin. And then, you know, he goes out. You know, my brother was talking. Oh, and I'm sorry. Before he left, he gave me a Snapchat and he was like, yo, just hit me up if you want to hang out sometime. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so he leaves. I'm talking to my brother. I was like, yo, so did he tell you, like, you know, what he does for a living, blah, blah, blah? Like, you know, how does this guy just drive an Aston Martin and all these other nice cars, you know, just to... But he doesn't really do anything, you know? Is he a professional skateboarder? Like, what is this thing? And he was like, my brother just goes, I don't know. I literally do not know. He didn't tell me. And I was like, huh, okay. So, you know, later that night, I hit him up on Snapchat. I was like, yo, you know, great to meet you. You know, let's keep in touch. Hopefully we'll meet up soon. Cool. So he goes, yeah, bro, actually, tomorrow I'm getting a couple of the skate park homies, and we're going to go hang out at my house if you're down. Just hit me up. We're actually going to go to the skate park beforehand that's a little bit closer to my house. And I was like, you know, I'm down. I'm down to hang out for sure. I can't go to the skate park but because of work, but I'm definitely down to hang out afterwards. He was like, yeah, cool, for sure. Let's go. I was like, okay, cool. So he sends me the address. Again, not really thinking too much of it. Didn't really strike my curiosity at the time. Went to work, blah, blah, blah. And then I, you know, was like, yo, I'm about to come. Is it cool if I bring, like, my brother? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. Your brother is more than welcome to come. I was like, okay, cool. So me and my brother hop in the car, get into this address, and then we go to this place. And it's about 30-minute drive. You know, I lived in the suburbs, and where he lives, it was downtown. And we pull up to this house, and this house it's pretty big. You know, it's not like a huge house by any means. But it's pretty big, and it's pretty wide, and it's on a good amount of land. And for downtown Austin, it's very weird to kind of have like a pretty big house in the heart of downtown, right? But also it's the heart of downtown Austin, so they're really expensive houses. So I'm like, what the fuck? So okay, whatever. He lives here with his parents. Okay, his parents are rich. Whatever. That's not uncommon in fucking Austin. Literally not uncommon, right? So, you know, we go into his backyard. We, at this point, we weren't allowed in his house. Nobody was allowed in his house. You know, he had a very strict policy about people being in his house. You know, blah blah blah. We were just sitting outside of his house, hanging out, talking, chatting it up. You know, he had a dog, and his dog he had a German Shepherd, and we're just playing fetch with his dog, and his backyard was huge, man. I mean, like, we're just sitting on the deck, and it was like this huge open area, this huge open deck, and then there was like a big outdoor space. There's an outdoor kitchen with like a full barbecue pit and everything like that, and then to the other side was like this outdoor, like, I guess you could call it like a guest house type thing. Had like some extra storage, extra fridge, and like it literally had like a vintage like Coke machine in there. Like it was like some of the sickest things I've ever seen. And that was like pretty much all we had access to, and we were only there for a couple hours. But what was really intriguing is, at the time, this was probably shit. I mean, I would have to go back in my Snapchat stories to really confirm this, but I want to say this is like 2018, maybe 2019, like right before COVID. This was like Delta 8. This guy just bust out some diamonds. He's like, yo, I got these Delta 8 diamonds. You ever heard of those? I was like, I've heard a little bit about them, but like not much. Like nobody heard about Delta 8, more or less. Like nobody knew where to get them, blah, 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 blah. Like it was just crazy. And so this dude just had a whole syringe of like these Delta 8 diamonds. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, and we just started dabbing these shits up. And I was like, yo, this guy's sounding cool as fuck. You know, still not really thinking much about asking him, you know, where he's from, his past, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It comes toward the end of the night, a couple hours later after hanging out, and he was like, oh, actually, I did want to invite you guys to Q's party. Q is throwing a party. It's going to be her birthday party in the next few days. She said, you know, just invite as many people as what I wanted. So she's inviting people, I'm inviting people, yada, yada, yada. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be here. You guys should totally come. I was like, yeah, for sure. You know, is it cool if I bring a couple friends and shit? And then he was like, yeah, just make sure it's cool with Q. You know, I mean, you work with her, so like, just talk to her. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's true. Not really thinking much of it. You know, again, I didn't know what I was really getting myself into, right? Fast forward, it's the day of the party. He texts me, he goes, hey, I need your help. I was like, what's that? He was like, your brother, and he named a couple other people that are like some of my brother's friends and stuff like that. He was like, you guys are the only people here that I trust. I don't trust anybody else. I don't know really the area much and everything. So I just want you to, you know, kind of run security. Just make sure everything goes smooth. Make sure that only the people that we invited are there. There's no randoms or anything like that. Like, I don't want this to be a big deal. I definitely do not want people inside of the house. And so if you guys have to go inside of the house to, you know, make sure things are going right and everything like that, that's completely fine. But just nobody else allowed inside of the house. It's only going to be me, you guys, and a few other designated people. And I was like, okay, cool. No worries. No worries. We get to the house early, you know, because we're kind of on the setup crew and everything like that. So we started helping up, set up everything, and he was like, yo, can you go grab some stuff out of the house? Like, I think it was like drinks or something, or like some cups or something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Tells me where they were in the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. So I walk inside, I kind of start looking around, and I just, you know, just start peeping the pictures on the wall and stuff like that. And like, the only thing that I see is like ROKU brand, like Roku this, Roku that, Roku that. I'm not seeing any pictures of him, his family, nothing like that. So I'm like thinking to myself, I was like, does bro just like Airbnb his house, and like he's just like trying to like live it up as if he's like just some bachelor or something like that? Like he's just Airbnb or whatever, blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, there's like, what the fuck is this shit? And you know, I'm just appalled. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. Dude's like Airbnb in the Roku house. Okay, I didn't know there was like a Roku themed house in Austin, but whatever, it is what it is, right? I go back outside. Still didn't really think too much of it. I didn't really ask him anything like that. But I did say, I was like, yo, homie, why are there so many like Roku pictures in your house? And he was like, oh, this is just the official Roku house. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, are you like renting it out or something? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you guys like just trying to do like, I know you were like, said you were into music and stuff like that. And you're like, are you like renting it out for like a music video type thing? And he was like, oh no, I like actually live here. I was like, what do you mean you live here? Like, do you work for Roku or something like that? And like they just gave you this house like as a sponsorship and that's why you moved out here? And it's like, not exactly. Before I could even ask more, a bunch of people started coming, and you know, the party and the festivities kind of just sort of began. You know, the vibe just kind of shifted, right? We were just sitting there having a good time. And before you know it, there's only like at this point probably like 20 people, you know. Hour goes by, the party girl shows up, the birthday girl, and everything like that, and we're just kind of chilling, conversing, and it's all smooth. Shortly after the birthday girl comes, you know, I notice a rather large amount of people show up. At first it was only supposed to be like 50 to maybe 75 people. There was a good 150 people here, right? I start going around making sure nobody's where they're not supposed to be. Everybody was kind of secluded, just hanging out outside doing their own thing. And so it was just one of those things where like everything just kind of like helped out, worked out, whatever, blah blah blah. Still not thinking much of this whole Roku situation or anything like that, right? It just never really dawned on me to really care about it. You know, so much things was going on. There's a bunch of girls there, so you know, me and the homies were rizzing it up. We're doing our Mac thing, you know what I mean? We're just hanging out. We got the bros and listening to good music, having a good time, you know. And it was just, you couldn't ask for a better night, you know what I mean? It was just a picture perfect movie night. Felt like I was like in the fucking cast of Project X or some stupid shit like that. Like it was amazing. It was amazing. A night that I would never ever forget. And if I, you know, find some videos of the night on my Snapchat, I'll incorporate them after this. And, you know, hopefully you guys can kind of live some sort of justice that I went through whenever I was going through it. Nothing really exciting happens during the party. I mean, it was just a birthday party, you know. It was just me hanging out with a certain group of people, just hanging out, freestyling, talking, going back and forth, you know, doing our thing, smoking, just having a good time. You know, nothing crazy happened. Everybody was chill. Everybody respected the rules, you know, so it was nothing wild. It did get to the point to where, you know, my brother got a little bit too out of control on his end. And that's nothing really out of the normal for him. But because it's my brother, I was responsible for him. So I just kind of calm that situation down, make sure that we didn't get kicked out more than anything. And that was that. Toward the end of the night, everybody starts leaving. And, you know, Simon goes, hey, if you need to, I know your brother's probably not in the best condition to drive. You guys can stay the night, you know. And I was like, don't worry about it. You know, I'm sure my brother will let me drive and it'll be fine. Like, don't worry about it. Well, my brother, in fact, did not let me drive. Mostly because we were in my brother's car. But, like, my brother's just, much like me, kind of somewhat of a control freak, especially whenever it comes to other people driving. He just gets a lot of anxiety and stuff like that. So, I completely understand, and also it's his car. But he was giving me a huge fuss about him wanting to drive and him being okay to drive. He really wasn't. And so it just got to the point where I was like, bro, fuck that. We're just gonna stay here. Let's just stay the night here. We'll figure out somewhere to sleep, and fuck it, like we'll just continue to party. And he was like, okay, that sounds fine to me. So that's exactly what we did. We just continued to fucking party, and it was but it was just the homies. So Q was still there. It was my brother, me, my homies, my brother's homies, and then Simon, and we were all just having a grand old time, you know, just hanging out, just cracking jokes, freestyling, just doing the whole thing, right? Sleep comes around. Everybody falls asleep. I make sure Q's good, you know, make sure she's okay. She's having, you know, the party of her life, but also that she's not going overboard and everything like that. She seems to be doing okay. So it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, cool. Everybody's in cahoots. Everybody's about to go to sleep. We're cool. Me, Q, Simon, we're just inside, you know, watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. At this point, it's like 5 in the morning, you know, getting ready for bed. I look outside, my brother's passed out on the grass. Okay, cool, we're good. And you know, that was that. Everybody starts getting the sleepies, and I just decided to kind of just go out of my way. I went to the guest house. There was like this little like small like bed on the outside, not really like bed, but it was like one of those like swinging chairs, but it was like kind of a one of those ones that you can lay down on and sit on at the same time, but it's like completely flat. I just decided to just fall asleep out there. Took a little blanket out there, you know, and just, it was a nice night. It was in the middle of like October, so it wasn't really too chilly or anything like that. And then, you know, I mostly just wanted to make sure my brother was good, everybody was good, and that was that. Woke up the next morning, you know, everybody's getting up. I was saying, oh, what's up, making some breakfast. And then me and my brother just kind of help out cleaning around the house, and he's like, no, you don't gotta do that, dude. The maid and the property manager is gonna come and clean up all of this. Like, it's okay. Like, they said it was okay. I had this party. I was like, property manager, maid? Me and my brother have never heard such words. So we're just like, nah, bro, we got it. Like, we'll just help you clean up. Like, the least you could have done for us is like let us stay the night and stuff like that. Like, we got you. So we helped him clean up, and he was like, dude, this is the nicest thing anybody has ever done to me. And I was like, bro, shut up. And he was like, nah, for real, bro. Like, you know, he gives us like, I don't know if it was a sob story, if it was real, but he was like, you know, my parents I don't really talk to my parents much. They're just kind of like in California doing just a bunch of random stuff, all business related, just working on the family business and all this stuff. And my brothers and sisters don't really talk to me either. I'm just kind of like, sometimes I just feel like the forgotten child in the family. And I was like, ah, bro, you know, don't worry about it, man. Like, you know, worst case scenarios, you're out here, you're with us now, like, you're cool, man. Like, we'll always be there for you. Like, we're homies now. Like, don't even trip. He was like, thanks, man, I really appreciate that. And, you know, we just start, you know, vibing away, go our separate ways. And, you know, me and my brother leave, all that good stuff. And as we're leaving, you know, me and my brother were just still kind of just baffled about the whole situation. And we're just kind of like, just dawned on us that we literally just stayed the night at a ROKU sponsored house. And we're like, what the fuck is like who was that kid? What the fuck? Like, who is this kid? What, yada yada yada. And we're like thinking like maybe he's like, he just works for ROKU or something like that, and like that's why he moved out here and stuff like that. And we're like, nah, he doesn't work for ROKU, because the homie said that he designs video games and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, that's true. Dude does have a job as like a video game designer or developer or something like that, and he makes like a good 6 figures a year or whatever. Okay, maybe he bought the house, but it doesn't explain all the ROKU pictures and why there's so much ROKU inspired everything. And like every room had a ROKU TV in it. Like, it was just all ROKU. It was just ROKU this, ROKU that. The history of ROKU. It was crazy, bro. And I'm just like, that just doesn't explain it. And he was like, yeah, that is true. And we didn't really ponder on it too much, you know, probably just got high and forgot about it, and that was that. And, you know, a week or two goes by, and I'm chilling with my homies. One of the homies that I was chilling with was one of the people that went to the party with me. He was like, bro, I still can't believe we were invited to the ROKU house or whatever. I was like, yeah, dude, like, there's no way that motherfucker is like who he says he is. Like, he's gotta be like his dad's like probably owns Roku or some shit. And we just said that in like a fucking jokingly manner, and like we're just all laughing about it. And he was like, we're like, yeah, dude, his dad's just probably just some rich fuck that just like neglected him, blah blah blah, and like he just owns Roku and just focuses on that, and he's just fucking crazy, blah blah blah. And we're just sitting there high and shit laughing. We're just like pondering like, oh, what if? And then I was like, bro, wait, actually, what if? And he was like, there's no way. And I was like, I mean, there's only one way to find out. So I search up who the owner of Roku is. I think his name is like Greg Wood or something like that. And I was like, wait a minute, I think Wood is Simon's last name. And he was like, no shot. And so I go on Snapchat. Sure enough, Simon Wood. I was like, what the fuck? And then like I go deeper and I'm like, you know, like looking at this, the owner of Roku's Wikipedia page. I'm looking at like children and stuff like that. And his youngest child is a son around the same age that the Simon that we met, named Simon Wood. And I was like, bro, ain't no fucking way we just met the owner's son, the owner of Roku's son, and we just threw like this absolute banger at his house. And lo and behold, like, you know, I was like, dude, I have to ask him, like, is that weird? Like, I have to confirm it. And I was like, I hit him up. I was like, bro, is your, like, I don't mean to be weird or anything, but like, is your dad like the owner of Roku? And he just responds something like that, ... And then to this day, I haven't really heard from him. They eventually sold that house that he was living in, not because like, not because he didn't want to live there anymore or anything like that. Well, actually, I think that's exactly what it was. I don't think Simon wanted to live in Austin anymore, so him and his dad decided to sell the house, and he got a new house somewhere else or whatever, probably like closer to the company that he works for video game wise. I think he works for like RAGER or some shit. I don't fucking know. Something with video games and something making 6 figures. But like, he just moved. He just left. Like that whole span, the whole interaction of me knowing this guy, of meeting this guy, like the few times that I met him, it was literally in a span of like 2 or 3 weeks. Couple weeks goes by, the homie that I knew that kind of lived with him, not necessarily live with him, that's like the wrong word, but he would stay with him from time to time, you know what I mean? And I would talk to that homie, and we would make music together, and even that homie was like, yeah, I just haven't talked to Simon in a bit. He just kind of went ghost. And then same thing, like, I stopped hearing from that homie, but like just everybody just kind of just went ghost, you know? And then like I looked up the house was up for sale, it ended up selling, and never to be seen or heard from again. But yeah, so that is my story about how we threw an absolute rager at the Roku house and how the events transpired and, you know, what happened. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to drop a like. Like I said, drop a comment. Let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, how I can improve. I just like doing the damn thing. I appreciate you guys so much if you made it to this far of the video. If you did make it this far, comment down below safe sex. And the first person to do that, I'll give you something special. How about a $25 gift card of your choice? We'll do something like that. We'll see if if somebody actually gets it. And if not, hey, maybe 2 years from now somebody will claim it. This has been your boy J Sturdy and Jordan at Young Sweye. I am fucking out of here. Peace.